Hello friends, welcome back. My name is Uttam Chaudhary and you have started to watch my channel Excel to Excellence. Let me first of all apologize to my subscribers and to my viewers that this time I'm uploading this video quite late due to my personal and my professional commitments, but I would ensure that I would try to upload the videos more frequently so that you don't have to wait for too long. Thank you so much. So today in the series of Excel Quick Buys, we are going to cover Power Query, and in Merge Query series we are going to talk about this video is part 2, and we are going to talk about the query for two or more combination of values to fetch corresponding values. Now, now what we are talking here is that in VLOOKUP, we typically query for one value and we take the outcome of the corresponding one value. But in this case, using Power Query and the feature Merge Query, we are going to talk about how we can, query multiple columns. So say one, two, or three values. How do we kind of, do the combination of one, two, and three values together and see that, the corresponding value is being fetched. This corresponding value may not be just one column, it can be two, three, or four columns. So the good part is it is multiple to multiple fetching that we can do. So multiple values you can do the combination and you can fetch multiple values. So we are going to look into today. So before we continue, please do subscribe my channel Excel to Excellence. Do like my videos, send your comments, and do not forget to hit the notification button, the bell icon, so that as soon as I upload any video, you guys do not miss it. Thank you so much. So before we continue with the action, let's understand this data a little bit. So if you see at the bottom, we have two sheets here. One sheet names student name, another one is grades. Now our primary and the transactional sheet would be grades, and student name contains a bunch of different students. So so we have the information like the first name, last name, gender, the date of birth of a student, and the state in which this reside. Similarly, in this particular sheet, you have the name of the students, again the first name and the last name, and the grades they have scored in these subjects like language, math, science, history, geography. So what we want to accomplish now is that in the first name, if you see here, the first name has a lot of repetition. It's like we have Charles repeating three times, then Kim here twice, Lessa is twice, and the Mark is twice as well. So you would see, and I have purposely picked these repeating names just to show you that how powerful Power Query is as compared to VLOOKUP, because if you guys have any knowledge about VLOOKUP, you would certainly understand that whenever you are querying a single value where a lot of repetition is there, the relevant or the corresponding value would only look for the value from the first fetch. So say if we have Kim repeated twice, now if in the array, if VLOOKUP tries to fetch the values, it would not really go to the second Kim. It would always stop at the first Kim and would fetch the subsequent or the corresponding value. That's not the case with Power Query, especially when you are doing the multiple, you are doing the combination of the multiple rows. So this particular thing makes this particular video, especially the merge query with the multiple column option, makes it so powerful that you can do the query into multiple columns and can fetch the multiple values at the same time. So let's go ahead and look how we can achieve this. So grades is my transactional table, and I would then go to data. Under data, again, we go to from table and range. And once we go into from table and range, you would see that the Power Query editor pops up. And let me see if it brings up the value nice and the way I expect. So yes, the first column seems to be the way it is expected. So say um, it has the first name and the last name, which is with the alphabets, and then language, math, science, history, and geography. These are with the numerics. Now, if you go in here and open up the query, you would see that it is already showing that this particular table is named as grades. Wonderful. Let me bring up another one where we want to query from. So, what we are going to do is go to Excel. We would pick the file, open up, and this file, you would notice that there is something called student's name. Now here, if you look here, now we have the first name, last name, gender, date of birth, and the state in which they stay. So I am going to import this because this is exactly what we want. So once this is imported, you can see that all the type of column it becomes is this is alphabetical. Yes, this is alpha, all three of them alphabetical. The third one is date of birth, which shows calendar here, and then the state is again alphabetical. So we are good here. Now what we want to achieve is that these particular students with first name and the last name, we would want to add their gender, their date of birth, and their state, all of them together. And we would also see that how do we do the combine query in terms of fetching up the data. Yeah. So let's go ahead and do this. So I would want you that in this case, we would go ahead and select the grades because this is my transactional table. So I would go here and click on merge queries. As soon as I click on the merge query, you see that the first table gets fetched up from which has the first name, last name, language, math, science, history, geography, all of them together. Now um, let me fetch another table from where I would want to match the data into this column. So if you look here, you have first name and last name in the transactional table, and you have the first name and the last name in the student table. So what I would like to do is I would go ahead and select first name, press Control button, and press the last name. Do you observe something? You have number one shown here, a small little one, a small little two showing up here. So this is the sequence in which we have to select the other table through which we are trying to do a left outer join. So how we are going to do is now I have to select the other table in the same order. So I would go ahead and press control and press first, and then keep the control button pressed and press the last name. Now if you look here, the order is exactly the same. The first name in the top table is showing 1 and 2 for the last name. Similarly, in the student name, you have the first name showing up as 1 and the last name showing up as 2. Now, if you look at the bottom, it is saying that it was able to match all the 23 line items with what we are doing is left outer join, which means all from the first. So it is taking all the rows from the all the line items from the first, and it is only fetching the matching line items from the second, and it was able to match all the 23 rows. So let me go ahead and press OK. So once I do OK, you see that there is a column popped up with the name table, but there's a small icon there. If you click in this icon, it would show that what all values it was able to fetch. Now I will go ahead and unselect the first name because first name is already there, last name is already there, and I would not want to prefix this column with unwanted name. So I would go ahead and uncheck this one as well. Now if I click here, you would certainly see that the gender was fetched and the date of birth and the state was fetched just like that. The good part is that you were able to fetch all of these three columns in one go, just one go. Imagine in case of VLOOKUP what you would have done. You would have had to go and fetch, put the formula in gender, then you would put the formula in date of birth, and you would put the formula in state. So all of these you have to do it, all three of them individually. And the thing which VLOOKUP cannot really do is that if you have first name repeated three different times, so the of two times as it is shown in this particular column, you would see that VLOOKUP would just stop and fetch the value whatever it finds first, and it would not really know which one is the second one. But in Power Query, we were able to merge, combine two columns together to get the unique value and then fetch the relevant value, columns, all of them together. We were able to fetch all the three columns in one go. Now, the good part is now I can also do something is like I can order them as the way I want. So I really don't want to this column to be on the right. So I can actually move this to the left because I would want probably my grades to be on the right. So I would want all of these, primary information of the students on the left, and then I am okay, or maybe I'll bring this a little bit here, and date of birth can stay on the right, and then and then all of these scores can be left on the right. So now if you see, your data looks exactly the way you would want, and now in order to bring it back onto your sheet, you can press close and load, and it would go back into your main sheet. The good part is if you see here, all of these applied steps has been recorded. So you don't really need to bother about if you've done any mistake. You can always come back on this screen and do an undo by crossing onto uh, these particular applied step, and it would revert back to the older step. So I would go ahead and press on close and load. Now if you see here, it's taking a little while to show up. So as soon as it goes on close and load, um, it is fetching the data. Now if I go on to the second column, second sheet, you would see that it is able to fetch the name, based on the first name and the last name, the gender, state, and date of birth. Let's, for your confidence, let us validate this data. So I would go to student name, the first sheet, and find the name like Charles Robles. Now, if you go here in Charles Robles is a male. His date of birth is 2nd of August 99, and he's from the state of Virginia. So let's see if that shows up really in this data. Charles Robles, yes, is male. His state is Virginia, and his date of birth is 2nd of August 99. So this seems like it was able to match the way we expected, yeah? Okay, let's look at two more. So we would go here and say, I would look for Kim Fisher. Kingfisher, and I'm specifically going and looking for the ones which have the repeated value in the first name, so that it gives you a confidence that it is actually bringing out the right value. So let's look at Kingfisher. Now, Kingfisher, if I go down all the way, let me see. Yeah, there we go. So Kingfisher is a female. She is born on 5th of March 2000 in the state of Georgia. So let's see. Kingfisher, female, state of Georgia, and this is 5th of March 2000. I think we are doing great, and this is exactly what we wanted, and we were able to achieve all of this in one go. So remember, Power Query. So remember that not just two columns. If you have the need, so let me go back to Power Query one more time and see that if you have, for example, just not one column or two columns to match. If you have one, two, three, four, five columns to match as well, and then fetch out five columns as a corresponding value. If you want to add here, this is damn easy. You're going to follow the same step. It's just that when the order should be the way you select in the first, the order should be same in the second table. So in this case, we have selected two columns, but in your case, it can be one, two, four, five, or X number of columns in the same order, and then you should be able to fetch the corresponding columns to whatever number you want. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 100, whatever different columns, the corresponding columns that you would want to fetch against the value you are querying. So, right? So I think we were able to kind of do this damn easily, and I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know through your comments. Please do like and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that as soon as I upload any video, you get the notification and you do not miss out anything. So for now, thank you so much. Look forward to send you more videos. Thank you.